Hi guys, it's Toby here, the creator of the Save My Life programme and the UK's #1 obesity weight loss coach. I just wanted to drop you a quick video, okay, to talk about something that I get asked all the time, and that is, why do I uncontrollably eat, okay? So some of you might refer to it as comfort eating or binge eating, okay, but at the end of the day, it's all about you not being in control of what you're putting in your mouth. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that today, okay? So the first thing I want to say, okay, is it's not all psychological, okay? The reason that you're craving certain foods and eating certain foods at certain times of the day might not just be down to a psychological thing and the fact that you're stressed. It could also be down to your hormone imbalances in the body, okay? And also down to your past experiences, okay? So, sorry, that is moving on to the psychological side of it. And I want to talk about that first of all to start off with, okay? Some of the guys that I work with, okay, do have psychological issues there, okay? So, extending back to childhood and certain events that have happened in their life and how their body and their brain has then adapted to resonate and build a relationship with food, okay, to help comfort them with that, okay? So that can be something which can be an underlying problem, but that often leads to something like an eating disorder, okay, rather than the fact that just that you get sugar cravings or you go on binges, okay. That is more likely to be more of a food addiction rather than anything else. That is normally caused by increased levels of anxiety, okay, and different things can also pop in, like flashbacks and what have you. Now, if you think deep down, and you've got to be honest with yourself about that, if that is you, then you need to maybe contact your doctor, okay, or see a therapist for that. Now, if you want help with that side of it, then please do contact us, because we can put you in touch with people that address those sorts of issues. So by all means, drop me an email by the website. But for today, okay, we're going to focus a little bit more on the side of how your hormone imbalances and your sugar levels, okay, are going to cause you to crave in certain situations of stress, which might be caused by overload at work, or the kids playing you up, or just not enough hours in the day. And those everyday things, okay, which can cause you to normally eat foods you shouldn't do in the evening, and also throughout the day as well, when you're grabbing things like chocolate and naughty stuff that you shouldn't really be eating and you don't really need, okay, but you can't sort of physically control yourself in order not to buy that, okay. Okay, so first we need to talk about why this happens, okay, and why we eat uncontrollably and comfort eat, okay. And it's normally down to a natural response, okay, called our fight or flight response. Now, when our body is in a state of stress, okay, or anxiety, whether that be a physical danger, okay, so that we're trying to deal with, so something's presented in front of us that we need to run from or fight against, or a psychological issue, okay, whether that's stress at work, having too much to do and not enough time, or someone maybe being horrible to us, then what that do is that puts our body under stress, and our body can't distinguish between the psychological stress and the physical stress, okay? It all happens, and the process works in the same way. Our body can't tell which is which. So what happens is this fight or flight response, okay? And what this is our body getting ready to either run from danger or whether it means fight against it, okay? And what happens here is, okay, it releases a stress hormone called cortisol, okay? And cortisol is key to understanding why we then go into this situation and the mindset where we can't uncontrollably eat. Okay, and what happens is when this cortisol is released, okay, it automatically causes our body to start to break down sugars, okay, release sugars from the muscle into the bloodstream, okay, to be used as energy, and also starts to get our fats metabolized, okay, so our fat stores start to break down, which might be a good thing, you think, but it's not, okay, in this case, okay, because what that's doing is, for this flight or fight response, in order to respond on how our body would naturally, going back to caveman times, then we need that instant energy boost, okay, and that's what cortisol does. It gives us that instant energy in order to either run from what we're doing or fight against against the thing that's stressing us. So what happens is this then causes the breakdown of sugars and fats, and obviously because we're not in a life-threatening situation half the time, this sugar then releases into the body, okay, and we have exactly the same insulin response as we normally would, okay, even if we just elevate our sugar levels by eating something which has got refined sugar or high GI sugars in. So then what happens is this insulin is released, okay, and then that then causes us to gain weight, okay, or gain fat, because we're not burning that sugar off. We might be stressed at our desk, then that sugar is then being stored as fat, okay, by the insulin, okay. So it's just a knock-on effect of the cortisol. Okay, so what we can do about it, okay, we need to start reducing our stress levels, okay, guys. You need to find a way where you can reduce yourself, take a time out, okay. So those cortisol levels will rise when you're in a stressful situation, but then drop, okay, as quick as they can, because the longer you stay in that phase of cortisol being released and that stressed out and state of anxiety and anger, okay, the more hunger pains you're going to get, the worse that craving is going to become, okay, because cortisol makes us crave, okay, simply because we started to break down these sugars and fats and our body is now looking for more energy source, and automatically, because nowadays our diet in the Western world has changed to a diet of high sugar, our brain automatically causes us to flick and want that sugar, okay, so that's why we eat in times of stress. So the more cortisol we have, the more hunger pains we'll get, and the longer the cravings will go on, and the longer those binges will go on for, okay, and that's when you get into the stage of uncontrollable eating. A key thing, okay, is to try and relax in the evenings, okay, guys, so obviously try and chill out a bit when something goes wrong at work or during the day, and get those cortisol levels down as quick as you can, but also what we want to do is try and relax in the evenings, okay, that is our time to chill out, and what happens is our cortisol levels are at the highest when we first awake in the morning, okay? So, and they gradually reduce throughout the day. So what we want to do is in the evenings try and keep them as low as possible, because if we haven't eaten correctly throughout the day and our blood sugar levels have been all over the place and we haven't been eating little and often and been eating refined sugar, then what we do is we'll get a sugar lapse in the evening, okay, where that cortisol level's dropped. And then if we become stressed in the evening, that response from the cortisol and the insulin is going to be even bigger. So that is what causes people to sort of binge eat and comfort eat in the evenings, especially after dinner and uncontrollably, simply because it's at its lowest point in terms of cortisol level, and therefore we get a bigger response, okay, because it's more of a shock to our body. So try and stay chilled out in the evenings. The other thing is to get more sleep, okay, guys. If you don't get enough sleep, then your cortisol levels will rise and they will be higher in the morning, okay? So your cortisol levels are always high when you first wake up, but what we want is to try and reduce those as low as we can, okay? So getting good night's sleep will reduce those cortisol levels. In terms of that, it's very, very advisable to try and keep away from refined sugars in the morning, okay, because your body is more sensitive to glucose, okay, the sugars, and therefore you're more likely to store fat in the morning and knock you out of a fat burning zone when you haven't eaten anything than you would do, say, in the afternoon or the evening, okay. So what we want to do is we try and reduce those sugars intake, but in order to eliminate the idea of uncontrollable eating later on in the day, or getting stressed on the school run and then grabbing something, maybe having a coffee after that, and grabbing something sugary, then try and get more sleep, okay, guys, because in the long run it's going to do you a power of good. I hope that gives you a good background, okay, into why you uncontrollably eat in terms of your hormone levels and what you're eating throughout the day. As I say, if there are any of you guys who are struggling with the psychological side and you think there might be a deeper meaning as to why you're uncontrollably eating or finding comfort in food, then please do contact us because we can help you with that. Until next time, guys, have a good one.